everybody. Tea time is in session. What is up? What is up? What is up? Come on in. Go ahead and like, subscribe if you are watching from YouTube. Um, if you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, please do so. You'll definitely want to get to that in the future for our next season. So, for sure. But tell me who is tuning in. Say hello. Make sure that you can hear me tonight. I know I didn't do no advertisement whatsoever, but you know what? We're still out here. We're still doing it, and we're still setting the tone so that we can be an encouragement to everyone out there. I hope you're having an amazing Tuesday. So glad that you could watch the replay. So shout out to all those replay players if you are tuning in. But once again, thank you all for hanging in there with your girl, Liz, who is me, if you do not know. But thank you all for your love, support. As you know, you can always still get your tea time with Liz mugs if you would still like to contribute, because we are 2 months away, well, 3 months away from the end of the year, but 2 months away from Christmas time. And as I have promised, we are going to be a blessing to some single parents out here this year by your donations, by you buying those mugs or sending your donations. Once again, thank you to all of those who have donated. I'm so grateful, and I'm sure those who will be receiving those giftings will be extremely grateful as well. If you know of anybody that you would like to nominate who is a hard working single parent, please let me know. DM me here on Tea Time with Liz Facebook page. I will also post my email to where you can send those names and tell me why. Now, you cannot nominate yourself. I know it could, I wish it could work that way, but that is not how it's going to work. So, this is about nominating somebody that you admire as a single parent who is working very hard to keep things together and making a future great for their children. So, like I said, you can go ahead and DM me, or you can email me, and I will post that email here after our tea time session tonight. The deadline to receive names will be about the 15th of November. The 15th of November. So you have some time to think about it, see, observe, pray about it, however you choose. But I'm excited that we will be able to be a blessing to some out there who are working very hard. As you know, I definitely understand as a single parent, and which kind of leads me into our discussion tonight. I want to just talk about and get into the tea tonight of something I really don't ever discuss openly. But I want to be transparent, I want to be open, and hopefully my testimony, my story, not to sound selfish or vain, but hopefully, like I said, my experience will be able to help those around you, or help you at that. Tonight, I want to talk about dealing with somebody who is autistic. Um, for some of you, you may not know, you may know that my son, I have one son who is 12 years old. He is autistic, he is on the spectrum. We did not find this out very um, early in life. It actually happened about age 5, 6, and I'll get into that story. But the reason, like I said, I want to talk about this is, and it really in general, just children with disabilities, not just children who are autistic, but children with disabilities, parents who have children with disabilities, to be very kind and gracious to them. I know sometimes we see people with children with disabilities in public, and they may do things weird, or say things weird, or act out, or have a moment, and sometimes we do stare. We are nosy. But have compassion on them. I can definitely tell you this changed my whole outlook of life. It definitely humbled me in so many ways, but I'm so grateful that God saw fit to give me this experience and to see His miraculous work through my son as well. So, if you have questions, if you want, if you're curious, please put them in the comments tonight, and I will be glad to answer those questions tonight as well. So, like I said, this is the tea tonight. We're gonna get into it. So I hope you got your water, your tea, whatever you're sipping on. um, Hopefully you don't need Kleenexes, but if you're sensitive, emotional, you may need those as well. So, like I said, I have one son who's 12, and we we understood like around age 3 he was having trouble in school. We sent him to preschool early, or early child development, there we go. And I was living in Minnesota at the time, and his teacher, she mentioned to me, she's like, he has a hard time focusing, but he's a boy, he's adventurous, but he does have a hard time catching on as well, so you may just want to keep that observation. And I didn't think anything of it because, kids who are 2, 3 years old, 3, 4, they talk in their own language, right? They tend to speak however they choose to speak. It don't make sense. It sounds funny. He was speaking. The 2 to 3 word sentences growing to 4. Like I said, it was kind of choppy, but nothing really to be concerned about. And so we kind of just continued. We moved here to South Dakota, and he continued on with early child development. And there is where they kind of started to label him with cognitive disability. And just like I said, kind of saying that he was very behind for his age or had a hard time picking things up. And, being a person in school, I also had some disabilities, learning disabilities at that. I still struggle sometimes with dyslexia. And so I know I just have to take my time, so I don't miss words or, read things wrong or whatever the case may be. So, but that was a struggle all my life in just reading. And so, I kind of understood how the school system worked. Obviously, it was a school system I grew up in as well. And so I was just very cautious. I said, okay, so of course, being the mom that I love to be, we started doing things at home, reading at night, doing flashcards, whatever, to kind of help this delay continue to grow and get better. So he started kindergarten, and so this is where things became a red flag in kindergarten. So we went to school one day, or I should say, I sent him to school one day, and his teacher decided to email me that afternoon, and she said, Elizabeth, he doesn't seem like himself today. He kind of took a nap right now, so I let him sleep because he seemed pretty groggy and tired. Do you know, did he have a bad night of sleep the night before? Is he not feeling well? Like, do you know of any information that would help us? And I said, no, he was fine, but just check on him just to be sure he didn't have like a fever, he wasn't feeling well. So she did, and immediately, probably less than 5 minutes, she emails me back and she says, "Ma'am, you need to hurry to the school. Your son has a gash in the back of his head. He had had an accident on the playground sometime that day." And obviously, no one saw it. So, I'm freaking out. I dip out of work, almost fall, trying to run to my car. Um, and just start praying and just ask God to keep my son, keep him. I don't know, the whole details, but that's all I had. So I get to the school. They have an ice pack on it, and he had a pretty deep cut where he had to get about 4 stitches. So come to find out, like I said, the teachers had their back to the playground. They were chit chatting. They found out who pushed him. Um, and it was very odd that no one saw the blood from his cap. He had it because it was pretty cold outside in this time and season. So they pulled they saw the cap later, obviously, that had the blood on it. And so I'm irate. His father lived in another state at the time, so I'm calling him and he's irate as well, because how do you all miss this? So, but what I found to be very awkward was that my son went through majority of that day, and didn't say anything. He didn't cry. He didn't say, hey, I have an owie or something hurts or anything. He was just kind of numb to this pain. And I mean, if you think about it, you get cut, or any type of head injury, I'm sorry, I'm not silent. I'm gonna make some noise. I'm gonna let somebody know. So to me, that concerned me as a mother, and so I took him to his doctor, and I said, this is what happened, and I don't know really what's going on with him. So I would like to get him evaluated. So we went through some evaluations, we went to a behavioral doctor, and they just start loading us up with therapy, because his speech did start to delay as well. He was still kind of talking like a 2, 3 year or 3 to 4 year old, in kindergarten. So he wasn't growing any. Once again, going through these evaluations and coming to find that they did medically label him with cognitive disability. So of course, I'm a nosy mom, and I'm just not going to take any label for my son. I started doing my own research, and cognitive disability is delays of the mind, of the brain in development. So it's kind of a general label until they can do more research on, or the behaviors, or observe the behaviors of your child, to figure out exactly what area of cognitive disability they began to lie in. So it was very devastating, for me, because um, no one wants to hear that there's something wrong with their child. Okay, I'm gonna try not to cry. No one wants to hear that your child's not normal. It's one thing to say, they have a learning disability, and resources are going to be needed in school and so forth. But to say, this is something medical and it could last a long time, it's hard for you to grasp. Now, being a woman of faith, this is where I think sometimes, even as I was going through this situation, I had to come to realization, is that it's not that my faith decreased or has decreased to believe that God can heal my son, because by all means, I truly believe he will be normal one day and function as a normal human being, as we all do, right? Um, However, this is just his path, and this is what God chose. Um, but I can't deny what is being put in front of me. And I have to ask God why. Sometimes, here goes my preacher, but sometimes we have to ask. I know they say don't ask God why, but sometimes you have to ask God why. What is really going on here? Because people can say things, but I don't have to accept it. That's true. However, But what is being presented to me, I have to be able to know what I'm fighting against spiritually. If I don't know what this is, the spirit that's attacking us, how can I call it out? How can I come against it? How can I pray against it? Right? So there has to come to a realization of what you're dealing with. And I don't want to speak too much for his father, but at that time, I know his father had a hard time accepting um, a lot of the diagnosis and the things as we journeyed on through these evaluations. By the time we were done with evaluations, they recommended that we would go to speech twice a week and he would go to occupational therapy. Um, so he was in speech. They would discuss and try to sound out things and make up sentences and everything. And I will never forget the first time we went to speech therapy. Um, okay, I'm still not going to cry here. But I remember my son saying, "Mom, I can't do this. I don't understand. I can't do this." And he broke down and he cried. And it just broke my heart because I know um, they know that they're not normal. They know there's something different and there's something wrong. Um, and it's some things are a struggle for them, right? Um, but us as the parent, as the one that God gifts them with to protect them, to cover them, to love them, I spoke life. These are the times where we speak life. These are the times where we speak, what God is to us, right? And so I said, honey, you can do it. Don't. It's okay. Just take your time. You can do it. And it's so amazing, and these are good tears. These are not bad tears. These are good tears. And I apologize if I can't. I really can't see y'all's comments tonight, so I apologize if you are making comments. Um, but uh, um, so it's just amazing though of his development and where God has brought him from just that moment in that time. Like I said, he was about 6 years old at that time when we started these therapies. So occupational therapy was another thing we also went to twice a week. Okay, there I see comments. Hello, Faith. Um, and so occupational therapy, I had no idea what occupational therapy was until once again I did some research and I started talking to the therapist that we would go to every week because we were seeing her twice a week. And so I was like, what is this for? And she said, well, the way your muscles and your nerves and your senses are developed or are connected in your body, it's this physical movement and exercises that um, start bringing those wires that are crossed, excuse me, back into their rightful places by all these different activities that we do. Because I remember my son, every time he wanted to stop or land somewhere, he would just fall. He didn't know how to stand and just hold his ground. And so once again, going through all these therapies to see his development and see how he's able to stop, how he's able to control his body, and how he can actually have conversation. Because I used to pray and just ask God to cover him every day as he was journeying through school. Because it counted a blessing that you can have conversations with your child. Because I would try to have a conversation with my son and say, "Hey, how was school today?" or "What did you do at school today?" And he couldn't say anything. He couldn't put it into words. He didn't know what to say. And he just would just say, "I don't know. I don't know." And it would scare me a little bit because I'm like, if somebody lay a hand on my son or did anything crazy, you're gonna see a whole nother side of me. But like I said, thanks be to God, he has always covered him with his blood, and that no hurt, nor harm, nor danger has come to his dwelling ever since that accident on the playground. Um, in that, like I said, his development has grown so much, to where I'm grateful today, that me and my son actually can have conversation. He will say, "Hey, mom, how's it going? What'd you do today?" He'll conversate and joke with other people, other family members, and he is definitely coming into his personality. And all I can say is I'm grateful. We had to do some hard work, but we're grateful, because God met us in the work. Faith without works is dead, right? And so I just, like I said, I wanted to share this because we don't talk about these things a lot in church either, because we always think that if your child has a disability, or there's a dysfunction somewhere, it's a spirit, and whatever the case may be, you're cursed. God doesn't love you. That is totally not true. Okay, that is a false lie, and the truth ain't in them. Okay, so I and a lot of times, I know me as a parent, sometimes we beat ourselves up. We try to figure out, like, where did we go wrong? What should I have done when I was pregnant? What did I miss? What did I do that I shouldn't have done? And you just start going through the blaming, of and the guilt and the shame, because you feel responsible, in some sense, because why? That's your flesh and blood, that's your child. And so I just want to, like I said, I wanted to share this tonight to be an encouragement to those who have children who are struggling, and it may not be even something physically or a disability in that sense. Maybe they are just having behaviors at school, maybe they are struggling in school, and they're just not always hitting the mark. You see these parents who get to put their child up there, and I celebrate with those people as well. Not to be, like I said, jealous or have any kind of enviness, because I don't. I love the son that the Lord has given me, but you got to count your blessings to be able to post and to share, some of your accomplishments and some of the things that your child gets to do. Just being able to have those conversations, to hear your child say, "I love you," because I had to do a lot of research, because, like I said, we kind of went through a year of therapy, and we would go to the behavioral doctor, who dealt with children with on the spectrum and so forth, and they kind of kept us in this limbo. And I said, you know what? Um, I've done my own research, and not trying to come against you or anything like that, but I need to know exactly what we're dealing with here, because he showed signs also of sensory disorder, and in which that is like their senses are, like I said, are kind of out of whack. So that's why some kids on the spectrum can only wear certain types of clothes, because certain materials or certain things to them feel unease, or feel prickly, or feel like needles touching them. And I learned all of this from a book, What Your Child Wants You to Know, um, who has autism, is the name of the book. I don't remember the author, but that book changed my life, because I remember, even as I would take my son to public places, to church, to out to dinner, or to the mall, or whatever the case may be, and he would always kind of have like this uneasiness or anxiety, and he would tolerate it for a little bit, but um, he eventually kind of would, I hate to say, kind of act out, or kind of make it known that he was done with this atmosphere. He was not going, and so I had to learn to adapt, and to say, okay, I can only take him to certain places for a certain amount of time. I could never, and even still to this day, I cannot surprise him with a place that we're going to go to. If we're going somewhere, I have to show him pictures. I have to, kind of prep him weeks in advance to where we're going and what we're going to be doing, so that he is prepared for the atmosphere. Because some sounds sometimes are very irritating. And so, sometimes he'll have to use headphones. And once again, going back to the church, it's not that he doesn't want to hear praise and worship. It's not that he doesn't love God, because we pray, we talk about God all the time. He definitely knows who God is. But like I said, sometimes some sounds are just hard for him. And so once again, it doesn't mean the devil's in my son. It just means he has to just adapt to the atmosphere that is comfortable for him. And like I said, it was a learning process for us both. That once I finally got it, we found a groove. He's definitely a child who has a great potential. He can memorize anything. He can reenact anything, and he has a great memory. That is one of his high skills, because kids with autism, depending where they are on the spectrum, they can have a gift that they're very good at. You give my son things out of order that are just organized and so forth, he's got them in their category and their color like within minutes. That's how he operates. In his world. And so, like I said, it was different for me. It was a learning process. And even me learning God, it brought me to a different place with God. Even for our healing process, everybody doesn't heal the same. Everybody sometimes doesn't have um, a starting point of where this comes from, because I share this also in my book, as part of my testimony, is that we don't really know where this came from for our son. It's not nothing in my genes. It's nothing in his father's genes. There's no dysfunction in his chromosomes. We did all this genetic testing, and I remember praying and asking God, like, just make it plain. Show me that you're in this, and it's not man, or it's not medically something that can be discovered. And lo and behold, like every test we try to find the answer to, they definitely came back with, clean. They couldn't find anything malfunctioning in his chromosomes. There's nothing wrong with me or his father's genes. Everybody is pretty much healthy in the DNA world. So, like I said, I know that this is something that God wants us to experience. It's just part of my journey, his journey. And I'm grateful. I had to come to a hard place, and acceptance, and to just figure out, okay, God, what out of this do you want? Because there's some type of glory, and that's what you have to understand. You may be going through a long suffering season or time yourself, and you're frustrated, you're trying to figure it out, you don't want to accept it, but sometimes in that acceptance, to say, okay, Lord, I see what this is, but I give it back to you. I surrender it to you to give me the guidance of how to get out of this, how to get the glory for your namesake. Because obviously you would never allow this to happen if you didn't want to get some glory out of this. So there are some, like I said, there are some up and down days that we have. He's not always 100. And so we roll with those punches. And it was very difficult for me, and even sometimes for his father, because we are both people of ministry, that we have to be very cautious of what atmospheres we bring him to. He is very sensitive to any type of atmosphere. He will let you know in a minute when he is uncomfortable, when he does not want to be where he is. And so I sense that sometimes is his discernment. So I definitely heed to that as well. But like I said, I wanted to be open. I wanted to share. This experience because I don't talk about it. Obviously, you see, I don't post about him very often. It's not that I don't love my son, because God knows, but he doesn't like pictures. um, you got to kind of catch him off guard. You got to, catch him on a really, really good day. And so his father's good with that. Mom doesn't get that credit. So, but one of these days, hopefully he'll join me for like maybe 1 or 2 minutes here on Tea Time. But I'm very grateful. Like I said, we have been out of therapy though now for about 2, 3 years, and we're forever grateful. He don't want to be bothered. He definitely is his own person. um, and he will definitely tell you. So I apologize if you do ever get to meet my son. If he says something out of pocket, please do not take offense. He speaks his mind. He definitely speaks his mind. And so we're working on our social skills, but he's like I said, he's grown so much, and I am, like I said, forever grateful. So, if you know family members, if you know friends, any type of connection, coworkers, whoever, just try to be a blessing to them, because like I said, the little things that you take for granted, your child, being able to say I love you. He now is in that place where he is finally saying I love you, mom. Before he had no idea. He doesn't really understand Mother's Day, Father's Day yet. All he sees is his birthday. He counts everybody else's birthday down until, because he knows his is coming close. Like I said, he lives in his own world. But like I said, you just have to be able to count your blessings. And like I said, try to be a blessing to those who may have children who are on the spectrum, and every child is different. I've met a lot of other parents, and I was hoping that one day I would be able to bring another parent on and we could talk about this. But of course, my time never allows me to do what I really want to do. But we're gonna get there one of these days. But nevertheless, like I said, every child is different. I've met some parents whose children are mute, who cannot talk at all. So I count my blessings that at least my son can talk and have some type of conversation. I've met children who are who have very bad behaviorals, whose ADHD or ADD is out of control. And they're like I said, they're kind of everywhere. That's why they call it a spectrum, because no child is the same. But there are some similarities. And so just try to be respectful to those parents, to those children. If you see somebody in public, try not to be the one to stare. Try to send a smile. Try to help out, if you dare. I know with COVID and everything, you got to keep your 6 feet. But like I said, just try to be compassionate. Pray. I mean, if anything else, just pray. And that God will continue to give them strength, because it's not easy day in and day out. I'm grateful. We're coming up in his older years. It has been a struggle, but it's not such a struggle anymore. So I'm forever grateful to be able to have the son that I have. Like I said, if you haven't heard me say that yet tonight, let me end it on that note. But like I said, if you have any questions, if you want to know more, I'm definitely an open book. Like I said, I had to do some research because I couldn't figure out why my son always wanted to wear. He is such a sports person. He likes his gym pants or joggers and t-shirts and hoodies, and he good in his tennis shoes. He hates jeans. Sometimes we fight when it comes to like going to church and stuff like that. You know, I pick my battles. I pick the days that, you know, I gotta make sure you look presentable so people don't think that, you know, we don't know how to dress. But we definitely have he's definitely built a confidence and a tolerance. um, I'm trying to think of some other things that he definitely has. You know, he eats certain things, he will not touch other things. And there was therapy for that we went to, and he's grown a little bit in that, but we may need to pick that back up again. But like I said, he has definitely came a long way from not being able to eat but just one thing, to, you know, just being able to wear one type of clothing, to be able to, yeah, chicken. Yeah, definitely chicken. And it's so funny because his father is known for that. If anybody knows his father, shout out to Cortland Pickens Sr. He is known to love chicken, and it's hilarious that his son, that is all he'll ever eat is chicken. Doesn't matter how it's cooked, as long as it's chicken. So, but I've gotten him to eat tacos. Thank you, Jesus, because I cannot live without a world with tacos. Okay. So we're, like I said, we're making progress. We're making progress. Um, but like I said, he has definitely grown a lot. And so, like I said, I just wanted to share that story with you all. Share our I don't want to say our struggle, because it's not really a struggle anymore. It's just our journey, and it's been a long one, but it's been a good one, and I don't regret a day in my life. Through this journey. However, I do not wish it on anybody, by no means, but I do just want to be an encouragement to you, and to just know, you know, don't spiritualize everything. Some things are just given to us, and just, you know, work with what you got, and make it great, because God obviously wants to do something, and do something great through that. So, and I want to shout out to all my friends who have been supportive, who have heard me cry, who have seen me get mad, who have, you know, definitely helped me even watching him. You know, I'm very cautious of who I keep him around, his company, you know, to make sure that nothing bad happens. Thank you to my village out there. You know who you are. Um, thank you all tonight for tuning in. I'm sorry for not notifying you, but we will definitely be back on soon. For those who are going to be in Minnesota, I will be in Minnesota next week, next Wednesday. If you would like to join me, I will be at Shiloh Temple speaking at our council. So I'm excited. Hopefully, we will have a great crowd. To see everybody again is going to be amazing. And then let's see. Like I said, November 15th, you want to submit those names that you would like to recommend or like to nominate a single parent to receive a gift, for us to be a blessing to here in this Christmas season. Also, for you tea timers, I'm going to let, excuse me, the cat out the bag here. Lizzie's Cookie Jar, thank you for all of those who have ordered, who have supported. Thank you so much. I will be bringing some also next Wednesday. If you come to service, you may be able to catch a sample or two. But also, during the Christmas season, I will be doing candy baskets. Yes, your girl's just stepping up her game a little bit. I will be doing some candy gift baskets. So, if you know somebody you want to send a Christmas holiday gift to, look out for those gift baskets, or even cookies that you want to send to somebody over the holiday season. It definitely comes in professionally wrapped. gifting, and you will definitely not be disappointed, nor will they. They will definitely feel the love. We put a little card, little note, however your message says or what you want to say. I will definitely make sure that they see and hear the love from you. So stay tuned for those great movements with Lizzie's cookie jar. But that is all I have tonight. Thank you again. Like I said, share this with somebody that they may be encouraged, and I will see you next month. And we will talk some more in tea time. All right. Have a great night, everyone.